Hi and welcome back to this episode 37 of turning this mini lathe into something it was probably never intended to be. I'm still painting the enclosure panels, and while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I guess it's time to start connecting up the wiring. Here you can see the gear change mechanism which I made up last week. Just the push-pull rod here with the clevis and pin. Lever forward is high range, it's about 1:1, near enough. And at the back is low range, which is about 2.5:1. Now what I'm going to do is put a micro switch here on a little bracket so that it gets hit by the gear change lever out here. And this way I can signal to LinuxCNC whether the gearbox is in a high range or low range. Now I need to make a little bracket, some sort of oval holes here where I attach it. It's going to be sitting against a shaft which is on an angle, so by adjusting the height I can adjust the trigger point. Second hole, I'll probably just locate the holes by transfer punches. So from there I guess the cutoff will be about here. kind of a pain to get these mounting screws in. So what I would recommend if someone's going to do a build like this, I guess there's two things I'd recommend. One, don't do it. Two, design it better. I might just put a tie wrap on that shaft here, just to give it a bit more thickness to make that click a bit more positive. So I think once it vibrates it might come back off the stop. That's better. I've wired up my two chopped up Ethernet cables for all of the input pins and power and ground. So the next thing is to start connecting up my sensors. So this cable is going to be used for sensors. So that sensor I've just installed for the gearbox, and I'll probably run two wires out for end switches. Not sure if I'll get around to installing end switches yet, but that's the idea. Now where do I cut this? I guess it can come common till about here. Well, it's been kind of cold here, so the paint was slow to dry. I've had it now sitting on top of the heater furnace for a few days. It seems to have hardened a bit now. Now there's a bunch of wiring to do. Just get it all connected up and we can test it out. I better make sure it works before I screw everything together. Looks like I might have damaged the touchscreen interface. Some of it's working, like it seems to follow left to right, but doesn't follow down. Oh, wait a minute, it does go down a bit. And there's some sensitivity, there's a ribbon cable here at the back, and there's some sensitivity to touching that ribbon cable. Well, I've pulled the monitor out of its housing. Well, there's the problem right there. As you can see, I've torn or cut the ribbon cable which connects the monitor to its USB interface. Generally I prefer to make cheap careless mistakes, but this is probably an expensive careless mistake. I'll contact Sunfounder, the maker, and see whether I can get a replacement touch panel, because the panel's just stuck on with double-sided tape. So my guessing is that the panel with this ribbon cable and its USB module is probably reasonably easy to replace. But the question is whether they'll sell it to you. Now, while it is a bit of a major disappointment with the monitor does still work, so I think I'll continue with assembling everything. I'll just have to use my USB plug-in keyboard because that's got like a mouse pad on it. I'll just use that in the meantime. I'll build it all up and try and get this thing working and see what happens. But I will still install it, because then I can work on getting all of these switches integrated into the HAL and INI of LinuxCNC, getting the e-stop working and those things. Now some of you might be wondering why I'm not painting the whole motor, and it kind of reminds me of a job I once had to do. I was sent out to Asia to inspect a 737, I think it was. The plane was coming off lease somewhere, was going to be parked with us for a bit and then go on to a new customer in a different country. And I remember the rep for the leasing company being completely frustrated because the inspecting mechanics for the next customer were being really super picky, to the point that they made a finding that the box that the pilot's oxygen mask is in was not painted in the aircraft colours on the inside. Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous, and yeah, I'm not going to paint the motor because no one's going to see it. Well, so there we have it. That's what it's looking like so far. I was kind of hoping to get more done than this. I still need to tidy up the HAL and INI files to get these switches actually running. But I kind of ran out of time this week, so unfortunately, I'm going to be leaving it here. And next week, I'm really hoping to get this basically finished. Well, as finished as a project like this ever is. Guess we'll see, huh? Sounds like famous last words to me. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. I like all the comments. Keep them coming. I read all of them and I try and respond to most of them. So, yeah, thanks very much.